Hello, welcome back. So this is gonna be a short but hopefully fun. I just had the very first Christmas holiday music request from a publisher. There is a tradition between production music composers to celebrate when the first Christmas track request comes in, which is typically during the summer. I think it's a little late this year. I remember last year, I think I wrote my first one around May. So a lot of those, and they always do very well. It's a great thing to do, both if you do a rearrangement of public domain songs or if you write an original piece. And this particular request was a little bit more original. They wanted something a little different, still, compliant to the holiday spirit, and they wanted something very atmospheric. And so I wrote this little piece, and it's an original piece, but there is a uh, thematic quote of a popular public domain song, Christmas public domain song, at the very ending. And since it was so atmospheric, I thought it was a great place to experiment using Magnetism Vol.1, which is the milder, softer of the two. Volume 2 is much more focused on gritty distortions, and I had a lot of fun doing it. Using it in a context, it's important because you also understand how well it blends with other libraries. And I found that it blends particularly well with Albion Tundra by Spitfire Audio and a few other Spitfire libraries, for example, the Olafur Arnold's Chamber Evolutions and Evolutions. Anyway, I'm not going to explain much in this video. I just want to play through it, and I want to show you quickly how I used magnetism. Let's hear the track. How lovely! As you can tell, it's a very calm piece, not a big sweeping orchestral theme, and it's very atmospheric. And in the ending, there is this quote from, I cannot remember what that piece is called. Angels we have heard on high. I already wrote, I think, 3 or 4 different arrangements of this song. So when they asked me for a Christmas traditional, this is what I come out with quite often. As you can tell, there are still a few mixing issues. This bit here sounds a bit muddy. I need to fix it. I'm not particularly happy of the mock-up at the cello. It needs some dynamics, massaging and things like that. So let's go through it very quickly. So the very beginning, I got textures grade from LCO texture from Spitfire Audio. I sort of started playing randomizing with the ethereal to give this intro, and this is what it came out with. I really liked it. And I started blending in magnetism right away. So here we have 2 instances. We have this first one, which is one of the snapshots present. It's called Icicle, and it's the mix of these 2 sound sources. It sounds like this. Is this Kalimba together with Vibraphone, which are processed. I use the diffusion set delay in the replica delay in Contact. It's you have 5 different kind of delays in Magnetism, and this is one of my favorite for this kind of cold sound. And together with that, there is also this other layer from Magnetism. Just another snapshots called Christmas. You have them. I think this is short playable. Yeah, Christmas over here. You have it here as well. So all 3 together sound like that. Okay, so quite intro, and then we have some both vibes, which is my absolute favorite patch in all Magnetism. It sounds so good. For me, it's really instant inspiration, and it comes with this this second texture layer, which I didn't use though. Because it sounds really cool, but with production music, it's best to keep those non-musical textures to the minimum, so that it increases usability. And so this is the final texture. They did a pretty good job of evoking cold right away, and then yet another instance of magnetism. It's called Christmas as well, but actually I just used it as a starting point, that I changed things around. I used this sound source Mallet's Winter and the crystal vibraphone. The crystal vibraphone texture in volume 1 is basically I made it using the raw recording of a vibraphone and running it through a bunch of granular synthesis. Here's how it sounds in context. or pretty simple, but it really, contributes to creating this winterish atmosphere, which is pretty tough to do here, because even if I'm in Edinburgh, which is typically very rainy and cold, I'm in short sleeves. It's actually quite hot today, and we are at the end of June after all. So after that, we have all these loads of bells and twinkling things, which are so typical of Christmas music. You have the main thing here this is my favorite patch in Time Macro by Orchestral Tool. Is the single hits vibrato in the vibraphone and harps patch. So it's harps, harmonics together with some vibes hits. Sounds like that. I processed it with a tiny bit of micro shift by Sound Toys, together with Cine Harp, Concert Harp, which is my favorite harp. I tweaked a bit of the mic position to give it that sound. And here the Cine Sample Celeste comes in. This is, by the way, is not an actual Celeste. This is a synth. I would guess it's pretty much all FM synthesis based. I don't want to say wrong things, but I think that is the actual sound used for the Harry Potter theme and the John Williams soundtrack, but don't quote me on that. I might be wrong. I'm ashamed to say that I am a huge fan of John Williams, but I must say that the Harry Potter soundtrack is not one that I carefully analyzed and studied in depth as others. Soundtrack like Jurassic Park, which is my all-time favorite. So I'm not 100% familiar with that, but I think this is the actual sound that's in the samples sampled. And then we have a classic Glockenspiel, because there is no Christmas track without a Glockenspiel, which gives the main melody over here. In context. Doubled by magnetism here. Gives this cool texture. Together they sound like that. And I really love this really clicky sound. This sort of like little icicles, like little droplets of water falling down. The strings, we didn't talk at all about the strings. The strings in this piece are, there's loads of different things going on. We have, first of all of Ronald's evolutions. These are not the chamber evolution, but these are actually the solo strings, which sounds absolutely incredible. I just kept them all in the first slot, which I think is subtle. Yeah, it's subtle. And then I, wrote in the other parts, and obviously massaged carefully with the mod wheel. And this is the first string layer, but I did also add chamber grid. So this the same, still all of Ronald's, but the chamber ensemble. Together with one of my favorite libraries of all time, Tundra by Spitfire Audio. This is the strings eye. Here I'm using the Silken Consordino Long, and it's a pretty classic pedal. No, it's the tonic and the fifth. Again, massaged a little bit with the dynamics. And I'm surprised how well Tundra blends with magnetism. I think it's really cool. Pretty good companion to write these sort of atmospheric pieces. So all together, Maybe just a quick note about the actual composition, a little musical note. You'll notice that there are basically two main sections. This first part, it's basically in A mixolydian, so you basically have it's in A major, but there is a G natural in it, which is a typical mixolydian sound. Okay, and in the second part it goes to actual A major. I mean in A Ionian, and this is a little something, a little subtle trick to add variety. And I wanted to put a little transition in here, and to do it I use this patch in Tundra, which I really like. It's in the brass, and it's basically the players only blowing air in the instrument without producing any sound. I really like it, and it's great to use it in transitions and things like that, especially this piece being also so wintry. Well, there is also some woodwinds. Playing a patch which is called Doodle Tonguing, which together with Magnetism sounds like that. Alright, and I think this is instant dreamy magic land kind of thing. Okay, here you have the piano is noir, which I really love. Some tiny bit of compression, and my favorite EQ ever. Sounds just unbelievable on piano. Keep going. You'll notice that there is here this theme at the brass. Few things mix wise to fix here. I still haven't finished, but I wanted to mention this because this is a patch in the high brass which I really love, and it's called Hollow. Okay, and it's great. It sounds beautiful. The problem is that some notes are so incredibly out of tune. So unfortunately I played it in, and I had to bounce it in place and use some flex pitch over here and fix it a little bit, otherwise it wasn't usable. If you want for comparison, here's the untuned part. Ouch, that's pretty bad. It's really out of tune, but it's still a lovely sound, and so I made it work. More strings here. I used a lot of layers, so maybe quite a bit unrealistic on an orchestral standpoint, but I layered some chamber strings for Oliver Arnold's Evolution, which are the same two things that I showed you before, but there are also the strings, the Tundra I strings. Still playing Consordino, and let's mute for a second the solo cello. Okay, I have the viola part is a lot of layers, so I have a British Drama Toolkit viola. Then I have the Divisi section in in Spitfire Studio Strings Professional. And I really love this patch. I used the Divisi to really create that detail, and I tweaked a lot the mic positions to get what I wanted. This is the Flautando patch. Again, I think it sounds particularly well with Magnetism. It really blends well. This is still the Bode Vibes patch in Magnetism. Needs a bit of mixing here. The low end is quite messy. I'll work on that. Here you have the low strings legato in Tundra together with the solo cello, which is Tina Guo's Volume 2. Not this one. Where is it? Solo cello. There you go. Okay. You see here that I automated a lot the legato speed, but it needs some more work. I'm still not particularly happy of how it works. It can be made better, definitely. Here's the automation of the legato speed. And it's layered with the double basses. Oh no, just low. Oh yeah, I did think that this was double basses. I think it was Tundra's low strings, but it's actually basses in Spitfire Studio Orchestra. So let's write down basses. That's the 4 basses patch. Here again, a lot of mic position, so it's quite heavy. Good job that I'm working. This is the first track that I write on my new Mac. Is that's 128 gigabyte of RAM, so it should deal with this pretty well. The CPU is still under control, even if I'm recording the screen, and the software takes loads of CPU power. But anyway, here's how it sounds doubled. Definitely muddy. I need to fix that, and I will. Here then you have the theme, very famous. Yeah, it's a bit, yeah, it's quite low here. Again, a lot of legato speed automation, but it can be made better. The one thing that I'm not in love about the Tina Guo Volume 2 cello is that I don't think it has a vibrato control. At least I couldn't find it, and that is a little bit. It's not annoying because it's obviously made for this kind of really vibrato espressivo, but it is a little bit limiting. And here also the orchestration probably I will probably double it with something. Here tubular bells, because again it's Christmas. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, this was I really wanted to, to try and use magnetism in a more almost orchestral context to see how it landed, and then pretty happy how that it turned out. Actually, it's really good for to create this atmospheric ethereal thing, especially this volume 1. By the way, Magnetism is still on sale on the Triple Spiral Audio website. I'm gonna put the link down below. Please check it out and consider getting it. I put a lot of effort into it, and I think and hope that you'll enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. One of these on the video would be great. Please consider subscribing. There is a lot of cool stuff coming up. I was a little bit quieter than usual in the last couple of weeks because I was so incredibly focused on finishing and putting out there Magnetism, but I am coming back with a lot more content, so consider subscribing. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.